The moment a chosen one steps away from sexual sin, the entire spiritual landscape doesn't just change, it erupts. It's not a quiet shift. It's a seismic event that sends shockwaves through the kingdom of darkness. You might start noticing an immediate increase in internal pressure, a sudden, almost aggressive whisper of temptations, and a barrage of old, persistent lust spirits seemingly deployed overnight. Why the immediate, intense response? Because hell understands the gravity of your choice far better than you do right now. Your decision to pursue celibacy isn't a simple act of self-control. It's a declaration of spiritual warfare, a direct challenge to the enemy's dominion over your life. The moment you shut that door to the flesh, you simultaneously crack open a door to the ancient, profound power of the divine. The dark forces know that a consecrated believer isn't merely avoiding temporary pleasure. They are activating a deeply inherent power that has been dormant. This power is the catalyst for genuine spiritual awakening, clarity, and a prophetic authority that absolutely cannot be manufactured or faked. This is the precise reason for the sudden and often overwhelming attack you've been experiencing. Perhaps your dreams have become more vivid or unsettling, or the general pressure and intensity of life have ramped up exponentially since you made this commitment. Understand this: your purity is not a personal struggle. It is a walking prophecy. And the truth is, the forces of hell always descend into panic when a prophecy begins to manifest on earth. They recognize the threat of your transformation. If you've been wrestling with the nagging question of why everything got so much harder right after you decided to embrace purity, know that you are in the right place, and what you're about to hear will illuminate your path. We're going to dive deep into the mechanics of this spiritual warfare, unlocking the wisdom behind the struggle, and providing a powerful reminder of the incredible, formidable warrior that you truly are. If you've already taken this sacred vow, or if the stirring within your soul is urging you to step onto this path of consecration, now is the time to commit. Let this message resonate deeply. Let's acknowledge this journey together, because this is where the real power begins to unfold. The scriptures tell us plainly that your body is a temple, a sacred dwelling place. But often, the full powerful implication of that statement is missed in translation. Your body isn't meant to be a quiet museum for quaint ceremonies and gentle songs of worship. No, the truth is, it's a fortress forged in the crucible of fire, designed for relentless warfare and destined for overwhelming glory. The book of 1 Corinthians 6:19 is not offering a suggestion that your body should be treated like a mere decoration for God. It clearly states that it is the active, chosen dwelling place of His Holy Spirit. And wherever the omnipresent Spirit of God sets up residence, you will inevitably find power. You will encounter significant battles, and ultimately, you will experience victory. This is your true identity. When a chosen one resolutely decides to stop surrendering their body to the destructive patterns of sin, an incredible supernatural shift occurs, far beyond the physical realm. At this level, you're not just participating in a quiet act of worship with your body. You are effectively weaponizing it for divine service. Every single time you utter a definitive no to the persistent demands of the flesh, that resistance is instantly transformed into a powerful sword, unsheathed in the spiritual domain. Each desire you consciously deny and subjugate is a sharp, accurate dagger thrust against the carefully orchestrated plans of the enemy. Every intentional choice of solitude and stillness over a moment of seduction is not a move toward isolation. It is a profound act of consecration. Understand that heaven is not in the business of anointing or empowering comfort, convenience, or ease. The divine anointing is always poured out upon sacrifice. When your body is fully surrendered, it becomes, in the truest sense, a living altar, a holy place where the fire of your commitment to God is intended to burn perpetually, never extinguishing. This crucial fact is precisely why the forces of hell are so committed to sending endless streams of distractions, frequently disguised and dressed up as intense desire. The simple, terrifying truth for the enemy is this: if your physical body ever achieves full and uncompromising alignment with the express purpose of heaven, you won't just scrape by and survive this world. You will, with divine authority, invade it, Picture for a moment the profound image of a true spiritual warrior, fully engaged in prayer, their knees firmly planted on the ground, their gaze fixed on eternity, all external noise and distractions silenced, with nothing but perfect, unflinching, divine alignment. This image is the true horror and greatest fear of the enemy. The devil isn't truly afraid of someone who merely claims to have holiness. He is absolutely terrified of the chosen one who actively embodies it in their daily life. Holiness is not synonymous with softness, weakness, or timidity. On the contrary, genuine holiness is sharp. It is ruthlessly precise, and in the spiritual sense, it is extremely dangerous. A chosen one who is faithfully walking in purity and integrity is not harmless. They are, in all the ways that matter, unstoppable. If your current understanding leads you to believe that the totality of your battle ends with the successful achievement of basic self-control, then you haven't yet grasped the magnitude of what is rapidly approaching. The true, terrifying power is unleashed when your body, your mind, and your spirit finally unite in a perfect synchronized triad under the direct command of the divine. When these three elements align, your power transcends mere resistance. Stay locked in on this truth, because the revelation we're about to uncover will shatter any limited understanding you currently hold about the depth and breadth of your own spiritual power and influence in the world. There exists an extraordinary, history-making power that is deliberately hidden behind the veil of purity, and tragically only a very select few ever manage to fully access and tap into it. It's not a power that generates loud public noise or clamor, but rather the silent, profound power that fundamentally makes history. Consider this. Every single time a chosen one firmly and authentically says no to the seductive voice of temptation, heaven does far more than just issue an appreciative applause. Heaven instantly responds by granting you a substantial increase in clarity, a massive boost in spiritual authority, and expanded, vital access to the spiritual realm. This occurs because every no is not merely an act of resistance. It is an active act of permission. That act of permission is for heaven to fully and unequivocally trust you with greater assignments, to deliberately elevate your position within the spiritual hierarchy, and to deploy legions of angels on your specific behalf. You may genuinely believe that you are only holding back from sexual activity, but from the Spirit's perspective, you are actively and deliberately sharpening a sword. With every successful strike of self-control, that spiritual sword gleams with a brighter, more lethal intensity, becoming exponentially sharper and infinitely deadlier to the forces of darkness. The enemy is not primarily afraid of people who simply pray sporadically. The devil is truly terrified of the people who consistently and radically obey. In a culture that is utterly saturated and driven by self-gratification and lust, there is no deeper, more powerful act of obedience than making the conscious, intentional decision to consistently choose enduring purpose over fleeting pleasure. Look closely at the profound example of Joseph in the biblical narrative. When he fled from Potiphar's wife, he wasn't just frantically running away from a temporary sexual entanglement. He was running with all his might toward an extraordinary destiny. That critical moment of escape, that decisive action, was not a demonstration of weakness as some might interpret it. It was the divine, unmistakable unlocking of elevation. What appeared to be a significant personal loss in the natural physical world was, in reality, the precise moment that was setting him up for unparalleled spiritual and physical rulership. And the same powerful principle holds true for you right now. When you definitively say no to the bed of sin, you are simultaneously shouting an unequivocal and resounding yes to the throne of purpose that awaits you. You are not just resisting a momentary urge. You are actively, deliberately rising into your ordained position. Consequently, every demonic entity that has been specifically assigned to orchestrate your downfall begins to experience true panic the moment they observe your relentless and unyielding consistency, because now they have undeniable proof that you are not only aware of your high calling, but that you are actively and rigorously becoming worthy of fulfilling it. This is the pivotal moment of your ascendancy. But here is the unexpected and critical twist in this narrative that you absolutely must understand. What if I told you that the enemy hasn't merely been observing your commitment to purity, to wage war against it, but that hell has been meticulously studying your purity with the dark intention of hijacking it. Do not underestimate this tactic. You must internalize this next truth. The information you are about to receive is exactly what Satan has desperately fought to keep hidden from the minds of the chosen ones throughout history. This is the secret weapon they never wanted you to find. Battle. The kingdom of darkness does far more than just passively notice your elevated sexual energy. It actively tracks its movements, meticulously studies its potential, and absolutely fears what it could organically become if that raw power were fully and irrevocably surrendered to the will of God. This energy is deeply sacred at its core. It was never intended to be casually wasted on fleeting moments of indulgence. It was originally and divinely designed to create life, to forge an enduring legacy, and to seal eternal covenant. Consequently, anything that possesses the raw, inherent power to create on that scale also holds the equally potent power to destroy if it is tragically and fundamentally misused. This is the primary reason why, the instant a chosen one makes the definitive choice for celibacy, there is an immediate, palpable, and undeniable shift in the invisible realm. Demonic forces are strategically assigned, not necessarily with the immediate goal of killing you, but with the more subtle, insidious aim of completely distracting you, relentlessly seducing you, and effectively draining you of your vital spiritual energy. Do you ever experience what seem like completely random, lustful thoughts out of nowhere? Are you plagued by dreams that feel far too vivid? Or do old random flings suddenly contact you again out of the blue? These are not mere coincidences. They are highly coordinated spiritual operations. These are carefully synchronized attacks from various demonic entities. It is essential to understand that spirits like the incubus and succubus do not typically target the already rebellious or the openly sinful. They specifically come for the righteous, for the ones who have courageously decided to seal every spiritual door, and, in that resulting vacuum, ignite a powerful, all-consuming fire for God. Have you truly taken notice of how the intensity of the spiritual warfare seems to dramatically increase immediately following your firm decision to maintain purity? The prophetic dreams seem to become darker. The internal temptations grow almost impossibly strong, and you might even feel as if your own body is inexplicably betraying you. This visceral experience is not just a quirk of biology or a fluctuation of hormones. It is undeniable, targeted warfare. This is because true sexual purity is much more than simply a commitment to abstinence. It is the active possession of sacred, concentrated power. And you must internalize this truth. Demons do not waste their precious energy attacking something that poses no real danger. They relentlessly pursue your focused energy. They desperately crave your focused attention. And they want to completely extinguish your spiritual fire. The enemy knows that if you ever fully learn how to contain that power, how to stop it from leaking away, you will not just be able to successfully resist hell. You will ultimately outrank it. However, the enemy holds one final treacherous card in their hand to play. There is one last cunning tactic designed to twist your newly acquired spiritual strength into what appears to be a curse. The disheartening truth is that the vast majority of chosen ones tragically fall for this trap without ever fully realizing it. Do not allow your focus to waver, because the devastating truth I am about to fully reveal might just be the exposure of the silent, comfortable trap you've been unknowingly sleeping in for far too long. They will always openly laugh at your commitment to celibacy. They will label it as weakness, scoff at it as fear, and dismiss it as mere repression. But they do this only because they possess zero understanding of true warrior discipline. This modern generation aggressively celebrates raw, unbridled indulgence. The pervasive message is, follow your fleeting feelings, do what only feels instantly good, and live your personalized truth. But ask yourself this difficult question. What if those very feelings are, in reality, a masterfully crafted trap? What if momentary pleasure is not, in fact, your ultimate destination, but rather a profound distraction, meticulously placed on your path? The world's primary goal is to keep you intoxicated on a steady stream of dopamine, totally numb to the sharp sting of conviction and perpetually addicted to various forms of escape. But remember this, chosen one, We are not raised in a soft cradle of comfort. We are specifically forged in the consuming fire of consecration. Celibacy, then, is not an act of hiding away from the world. It is, in its purest form, intense training. It is the silent, demanding work that a fully committed soldier undertakes while the rest of the world is preoccupied with partying and endless revelry. It is the rigorous preparation that a king quietly endures in the wilderness before he is finally prepared to wear the weighty crown. It is precisely what David was faithfully doing while tending sheep before he stepped out and fearlessly faced the giant Goliath. You might be mistakenly thinking you are missing out on life. In reality, you are being profoundly divinely built up, because when you consciously abstain, you are not merely suppressing a desire, you are actively and powerfully redirecting it. You are taking your fundamental human hunger and placing it as a sacred, intentional offering on the altar of God. You are declaring to the divine, with absolute sincerity, not my will, not my timing, not the desires of my flesh, but absolutely yours. And in profound return for this ultimate surrender, he endows you with a powerful, undeniable authority, not just the ability to say no to persistent sin, but the profound ability to command atmospheres, to clearly discern spirits, and to utterly break generational curses with a simple, focused whisper. There is an unmatched, unique power hidden deep within the quiet discipline of self-denial. This power cannot be bought with money. This is the kind of powerful authority that makes every demon instantly nervous even before you utter a single word or open your mouth in prayer. Because when you have successfully mastered the impulses of your own physical body, you are no longer truly owned by anything else in this world. And here is the essential truth the world will intentionally never share with you. Celibacy is not defined as the absence of intimacy. It is, in reality, the active, radiant presence of divine alignment. And once you achieve this level of complete and total alignment with heaven's purpose, you instantly become a walking weapon in the hands of God. However, even the most powerful weapons require focused direction. Even the strongest fire requires intense, targeted focus. And in the very next moment, you are about to discover the profound truth of what genuinely happens when that concentrated, inner fire stops burning secretly and starts to visibly ignite destiny in the public square. Hell doesn't fear your physical appearance. Hell doesn't fear your financial wealth. Hell doesn't even fear your natural talent or gifts. What hell truly profoundly fears is your absolute focus. Because when a chosen one stops chasing the fleeting desires of the flesh and begins to relentlessly chase the consuming fire of God's presence, real, undeniable power finally awakens within them. There is no more persistent spiritual fog. There is no more mental confusion. There is no more exhausting back and forth compromise with sin. When the relentless noise of carnal desire finally dies down and is silenced, the pure, commanding voice of God inevitably gets louder and clearer. When all the destructive distractions intentionally fall away from your path, divine instructions immediately rise up to take their place. That is the moment your prayers fundamentally shift from desperate survival to brilliant strategy. Your acts of worship transform from a weary routine into a vibrant, living revelation. Your entire walk with God moves from being passively lukewarm to actively lethal against the kingdom of darkness. The enemy doesn't fear your physical strength. He fears your unwavering consecration. This is because a truly consecrated chosen one does not merely react to circumstances. They decisively command them. They don't have to desperately beg God for spiritual scraps or leftovers. They powerfully enforce heaven's will directly on the earth. And that level of absolute, unwavering focus only comes when lust is no longer the distorting lens through which you choose to view the world. It comes only when the purifying fire raging inside you burns infinitely hotter and brighter than any temptation the world can muster outside of you. It comes when you have the ultimate realization that purity is not your final end goal in this life. Purpose is. You were absolutely not born to just passively blend into the background. You were absolutely not born to scroll endlessly through every passing temptation. You were uniquely born to see clearly, to move precisely with divine direction, and to strike spiritually with maximum impact. This is precisely why the spiritual war for your focus is so aggressively intense and relentless. Because the enemy knows that if you ever become fully locked in, if you ever achieve complete, unshakable alignment, and if you ever finally stop falling for every spiritual counterfeit connection, you become unshakable, utterly undeniable, and ultimately unstoppable in your calling. And right now, you are standing closer to this ultimate realization than you could possibly imagine. The final unifying key, the one profound truth that ties every single element of this message together, is not solely about the act of celibacy. It is about the powerful, inevitable transformation that happens after the commitment is made. It's about what occurs when a chosen one finally becomes fully and completely awakened to their true spiritual reality. And the declaration I am about to give you now could very well mark the undeniable beginning of the most powerful, fulfilling, and impactful chapter of your entire life journey. Listen closely, chosen one. This message was not a simple video. It was a clear, divine reminder. Your courageous choice of celibacy is not a measure of loss. It is a powerful signal to heaven and an existential threat to hell. When you made the definitive choice to stop giving your precious body to sin, you did not lose power in the process. You profoundly unlocked it. You bravely stepped out of a destructive, repetitive cycle. You decisively broke a detrimental pattern. You intentionally silenced the siren song of seduction. And now you walk not just as a mere believer, but as a fully equipped warrior. A formidable warrior with crystal clear vision, unshakable focus, and the burning fire of heaven coursing through your very bones. Demons do not tremble at loud, empty noise. They tremble, they cower, and they scatter at the presence of unadulterated purity, ironclad discipline, and relentless consecration. So hear this final prophetic decree deep within your soul. You are not soft. You are not inherently weak. You are decisively set apart. And the intense warfare that you have faithfully endured recently, it is merely the undeniable proof of your high calling. The world will absolutely fail to understand your journey, but know that heaven has already permanently marked you for greatness. So remain pure, stay incredibly sharp, and continue to be profoundly dangerous to darkness. Because every single time you say a definitive no to the flesh, hell visibly shakes, demons immediately scatter, and your ultimate purpose gets louder. If this deeply resonating word has spoken directly to your soul, take a moment right now. Drop a profound declaration of your new reality in the comments below. Say it and declare it, I am set apart, like this message. Share it instantly with another warrior who needs to hear this truth. Subscribe to this channel. Turn on your notifications because, chosen one, this is truly only the beginning of your transformation. And your undeniable refining fire is just now getting started.